four, three, two, one.
The hottest team in baseball plays in Baltimore. Welcome into MASN All Access. I'm your host, Paul Mancano. Thank you so much for tuning in on this rainy Thursday. The Orioles have not lost a game in a full week, and they did it again last night with a come-from-behind win in Philly. 3 homers, blasts from Anthony Santander, Rio Ruiz, and Chance Sisco helped the O's overcome an early 2-run deficit. That blast from Santander made it 6 straight games with an RBI for the outfielder. But the game was saved when Rio Ruiz made an unreal diving stop and flip to preserve the 1-run lead in the 8th inning. The bullpen chipped in with 5 2/3 innings of one-run ball. The win moved the O's to 9-7 on the young season. It was a true team effort, as Brandon Hyde would note in the postgame.
You know, it seems like when good teams have different guys on different nights, and right now, that's what we have. We got some guys get some big hits tonight. Chance Sisco, Smitty. Middle relief is what won us the game for me. Army coming in and doing what he did for 1+ innings, and then Lakins with a great inning also. So. We pitched well, and we got enough runs to hold on. And
all of us kind of have something to prove. There's very few of us on this team that don't have something to prove, and that makes it fun. That makes it competitive. That's why you see us out there having really good games, and games like last night and tonight. We're going back and forth with these teams, playing hard baseball. They beat that into us last year and in spring training, that no matter what the result of the games, we're going to play as hard as we can. We're going to play 9 innings every single night as hard as we possibly can.
The O's have played just 16 games so far, but that's almost 27% of the season right there. They're sitting in 3rd place in the AL East behind the Yankees and the Rays, the latter of which having won 5 straight. And the O's finish up their 3-game series against the Phillies today at 4 o'clock on MASN 2. Coverage starts at 3:30. Tune in for that. While the big league team soars, the rest of the Orioles' 60-man roster is down at their alternate site in Bowie, working out and practicing. It's full of top prospects such as Grayson Rodriguez, D.L. Hall, Adley Rutschman, and outfielder Ryan McKenna. Now, you may remember McKenna is the speedy outfielder who played for the Bay Sox last year. He hit just .232 with 9 homers and 54 RBIs. He also had 25 stolen bases in 135 games last year. Now, he received an invitation to big league spring training back in February, where he had 2 hits and a stolen bag in 12 spring training games. And now we are joined by outfield prospect Ryan McKenna. Ryan, thanks so much for hopping on here from Zoom via a hotel room in Bowie, just a few minutes away from the ballpark.
Yes, sir. Hey, how you doing, Paul? Good to be here.
Good to have you, because I think a lot of fans don't really know exactly what goes on a day-to-day basis down at the alternate site in Bowie. So first and foremost, could you take us through a day at the alternate site, working out and playing some simulated games? What's it like on a daily basis there?
Yeah, no, it's definitely been a good routine for us to just kind of get acclimated and stay ready for, our opportunities here. And standard day is, we got the check-in. Once we have the report time, we have to go through and, make sure that we're all healthy and we're ready to go for the day. And then after that, we kind of just, get loose. We have a weight room that's kind of sectioned off on the concourse for us to kind of have some space. And, we do that. And then once we are feeling good, there's some early hitting optional for us to go out in the field and, feel our swings out for the day, and then, kind of get right into the practice of it, defensive work, and then some more BP before our live simulated games. We've been working, some of the pitchers are going half innings, 3 outs or 6 outs, or some even more extended. So it kind of depends on the day, how many arms we have to, on average, it's probably about 4 or 5 at-bats for us as position guys. So it's been a good routine for the day, and that's just kind of the standard, what we've been doing so far.
And as a position player, do you have a set number of at-bats you want to hit by the end of this, by the end of September, or is that just kind of in flux at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I didn't really have anything in mind, really. I mean, it's a 2-month span where you're going to try to get as much as you can. Given the situation and, the minor leagues being not available for development, I think this is a big piece for the Orioles and a lot of organizations for development for their guys and, to have them around and potentially get an opportunity at the big leagues. So I think as many as you can and just kind of taking the value and really, being present in those opportunities that you get for those, at-bats for us is going to be important.
And you're all in that one field together on the concourse or on the field down at Bowie. Do you have time or space to work on things at an individual level?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty open communication process. So if we need something extra in the cage or on the field, any of the coaches here have no problem going out and making space and making time. I think the restrictions for arriving early and staying at the ballpark a little later have kind of been limited. But for the most part, if you need something, they'll find a way.
And for you specifically, what would some of those things that you're trying to work on be?
Yeah, getting back to staying ready for if I'm called and if am I needed at the big league level. Everything from defensive to mental approach at the plate, just kind of staying sharp and staying ready. I think those are the main goals that I've come into camp with.
And you were up at the spring training big league camp, of course. You got some games under your belt back in Sarasota. Did you feel like you were getting into a little bit of a rhythm just as things were shut down?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, all those experiences are good just to, have that in the back pocket and just kind of the confidence. It builds confidence over that, those games and, wearing that uniform and being in that environment. And I think it all leads up to, the ultimate goal and the dream that you want to be in the big leagues for a long time. So I think that's just something that I keep in mind. And, I try to stay ready for that. And, it all helps. It all helps, and I feel good so far. So
good. Well, you have such a diverse group down at Bowie. You have some of the lower level guys like a Grayson Rodriguez or an Adley Rutschman who just got into the organization. Then you have some guys who are just sort of bouncing back and forth between Baltimore and Bowie. What's it like facing kind of the young guys as well as the veterans and having that be a mix on a daily basis?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's a really good experience for the younger guys, something that I don't think that they know how valuable it can be. A lot of the times the minor leagues can feel kind of, this is all there is. There's only Aberdeen. There's kind of, you're a good player and hope to move up as quickly as possible. But I think just getting that experience, seeing Bowie, seeing the higher level of play and the experience and bouncing off the knowledge, I think it's super, super valuable for all of these guys that are having that opportunity at such a young age. So I try to, get to know them as much as they can. They're all very talented players. And, if they have any questions for me, what I've been through, try to be an open book and just kind of, be a good teammate to them. So it's been good. And the older guys, obviously, they're veterans and they know their stuff. So, learning from them as well is super valuable for me too. So it's good.
And a lot of your Bowie teammates from last year are with you as well. Does it kind of feel like the gang's back together and the same kind of Bowie Bay Sox team as last year?
Yeah, a little bit. There's obviously with the situation going on in the world, it's kind of been, limited interaction in the locker rooms and all that stuff. But on the field, it feels good to be behind those guys too.
Nice. Now, the Orioles outfield is a little bit in flux, obviously, guys moving up and down. As spring training camp was just sort of wrapping up back in March, it felt like there might be an opportunity for you at some point during the season. Do you feel like there is an opportunity for you still there in 2020 in the Orioles big league outfield?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, my mindset is, keep visualizing the goal, be ready when that opportunity comes. Stay aggressive with your gameplay, know what you need to do, and just kind of don't have any sort of, just have it a fluid process. Be ready and make their decision when that time comes. Have that as a confidence builder for them and know that that's the right decision. So I think that's my mindset, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited. Hopefully that opportunity comes my way.
And there are several center fielders in particular down in Bowie. Have they been sticking you mostly in center or any on the corner outfield spots?
Yeah, I think primarily center, but also, making sure the repetitions are diverse. So, right and left are definitely mixed in there. But yeah, primarily center for me.
And do you get the opportunity still to run the bases and to try to steal some bags as well?
It's a little bit limited, but we do some sprint work. So that yesterday was actually a simulated, stolen base. So we were doing some times and, trying to get some numbers there and work on some techniques. So yeah, we do mix that in for base running, a pretty good amount as well.
And do you feel like you've been able to get better at things during this time and truly improve on some stuff over the past few weeks?
Yeah, I think coming off from such a long down period, you can only do so much from the weight room perspective, on-field perspective. Some guys didn't even have an outdoor field available to them. I was lucky enough in Houston that, we had a pretty good facility that we could get in our baseball work with. So I was able to kind of hit the ground running with that. And, just obviously every opportunity you have on the baseball field, you have to seize to get better. So I think that's where my head was at. And, taking that off period and coming right into camp, I think was good for me.
You mentioned some of the young guys earlier, like an Adley Rutschman and a Grayson Rodriguez and a Ryan Mountcastle, some of the top prospects in the system. What have you seen from those guys, and have you been impressed with the kind of talent level that you've seen in Bowie?
Yes, for sure. I mean, Mountcastle is obviously, probably one of the better hitters in our organization. And, it's always super interesting as a teammate and just as a friend as well to see him and how his mind works and what he's able to do at the plate. And, Adley and Grayson, very good kids. I think, they're very mature for their age and the way that they go about the game. And, I'm excited to see what they have in store for the Orioles in the future. And it's really going to be exciting.
Oh, I know Orioles fans are excited to see what you have in the future as well. Ryan McKenna, thank you so much for hopping on here. I'm amazed that the hotel Wi-Fi held up the way it did.
Yeah, for sure.
It's podcast plug time. Steve Molesky joins the most recent episode of the MASN All Access podcast to talk more about the alternate site in Bowie. You can catch the MASN All Access podcast on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Watch it on the MASN Orioles YouTube channel. Watch it on the MASN All Access Facebook page. Anywhere you get your podcast, you can get the MASN All Access podcast. That just about does it for our show today. Thanks to Brendan Mortensen, Bobby Blanco, and Hannah Broder. Don't forget, Orioles finish up their series against the Phillies. It's Thomas Eshelman versus Jake Arrieta on MASN 2. First pitch comes just after 4 o'clock, but our coverage starts at 3:30 on MASN 2. I'm Paul Mancano. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.